Wrestling Podcast. And his name is John Cena.
Are you actually starting?
I'm gonna start. Sorry, I got hip chat notifications.
Because I said the GIF. I did what I told you I was gonna do.
God damn it. Okay.
Sorry for doing my job,
I
damn it.
know. You should be. It's Friday, April 15, 2016, and you're listening to On the Heels Wrestling Podcast. I'm Kyle.
I'm Ray.
And I'm Brittany.
I fucked up.
We're three coworkers who enjoy pro wrestling, and this podcast gives us a space to shoot on all of the aspects of our favorite pastime without the confused looks we get from the rest of the office.
I was just thinking, it was great because I was at this show. This podcast is all about giving you consistent, bite-sized commentary on the world of wrestling, focused primarily on WWE's main roster and NXT, though we'll occasionally touch on indies and the international scene.
Every week, we'll either recap the previous Raw, NXT, pay-per-view takeover, or we'll hold a roundtable discussion on a particular topic. This week, we're going to recap the Raw after Mania and NXT Takeover, a.k.a. the best part of Wrestlemania Weekend.
I like that we covered the main show, and now we're going to cover the bookends.
Yeah.
Which were both better than the main show.
They were.
Yikes. Well, it's like, sometimes they say, the best part about a sandwich is the bread. So
That's true. That's true.
like, you got some really good bread.
So, this top slice of bread was the absolute best.
Oh, yeah, it was funny, too, because
NXT was, phenomenal.
Yeah, we saw the card ahead of time, and we were like, maybe, WrestleMania will outdo it, but no, it was
the card
perfect.
is just incredible.
It was magic.
They don't have, wasted motions, right? In
They
NXT.
don't.
They're super
No.
efficient. So, every single one on here, there's no fluff matches.
Yeah, there's five good matches.
Yeah.
That's it. They don't do filler matches. There's no vaudevillains. There's no Enzo Cass. There's no nothing. They had a couple matches in the pre-show that they didn't televise.
Yeah.
One of them was Apollo Crews versus Elias Sampson.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which Sampson actually lost.
Oh my God! Thank God.
I don't remember because I was actually just booing the entire time because I hated him. But yeah, those were sort of the pre-show, everyone sitting down matches. I did not think this was going to be better than Brooklyn because I was there at Brooklyn and it was that was so emotional and crazy. But this was that turned up to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Brooklyn, though the Bailey match was the best.
Still my favorite match of all time.
But there was some matches that were not as good on that card.
On Brooklyn, yeah.
So this card altogether felt stronger as a unit.
I think the best thing about Brooklyn was the storytelling in each match,
Yes.
not necessarily the wrestling. Whereas this was
pure wrestling.
Wrestling was better than
Yeah, but also for me, one of the things that was a little not so great about the Brooklyn one is that we had already had the Finn Balor Owens sort of moment.
Yeah.
And so having the second one, it was But that's just a little nitpicky. Anyway, this match or this whole card was solid, and talk about starting off with a bang.
Dude,
holy crap!
I did
American
not think
Alpha and
they
the
were,
Revival.
I did not think they were going to start with Gable and Jordan. But the fact that they did, I'm so freaking happy.
Yeah, because it lets you it sets the tone. That match
it
was
does.
fantastic. They get a reaction from the crowd, and it's super rare to have both pieces of the tag team match just be amazing.
Yeah.
Usually
Yes.
it's one
Yeah.
team's way better than the other, or someone on the team is way better than another member of the team, and that makes it a little weird. All those wrestlers
All
are
four
great.
guys are excellent.
Yeah. And they mix the styles, the Revival are kind of your old
old
LOD,
school.
Four Horsemen,
It was-
old school style. And then American Alpha found a way to harness that pro wrestling athleticism, or amateur wrestling athleticism into pro wrestling with all their toe holds and flips and stuff. They're just, it's great. They are so good to watch. Yeah.
So I watched this match and then immediately rewound it and watched it again. And I was because there were things about it specifically that the Revival were doing. This is a great match for American Alpha, and I'm glad they won, and I'm glad it all happened, and they showed really well. The Revival was doing some things, I could teach a class, a college course on this fucking match, and it would take forever for me to break down everything they did that was so just well done.
When he goes under the ring.
Yes! Oh my God!
To cut to the other side.
yeah, Under the Ring was great.
You
read my mind. I was
it's so simple, but
Yeah.
it's so genius.
Yep.
And it's, oh my God, it's those little things. And honestly, this match could have gone either way. The
Yeah.
Revival
Yeah.
could have kept it. I would have been fine.
Yeah.
American Alpha won it. They did. And I was ecstatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it could have gone either way, and I would have been fine with it. And that's just a testament to how well they've built these two teams, that they've built these four wrestlers, and that they have told the story.
Yeah.
Super good.
I want to call it one more thing, because I could talk about the Revival all day about this match.
Yes.
he tagged him while he was on the outside. And I'm like, why the fuck did he do that? Slides in just so they can argue with the ref to take the ref's eyes off of what the other guy was doing. And I'm like,
yeah, also genius, right?
holy shit, like, no one, like, a lot of the tag team things that they were doing were so old school and really well done.
They've really gone full on with the old school.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's
Yeah,
super,
they're
super good.
doing true tag team wrestling and not like we're paired singles wrestlers.
My favorite chant of that match was the, which one's Dawson? Which one's Dash?
Oh,
It was
great.
good. It was good.
The end of that match was really well done.
Super emotional.
And oh man,
Jason
he
Jordan
starts crying.
Oh my god!
Man.
Like,
Jordan starts crying, and I was right there. I was right there because it was just.
That's good. It was super
it was
good.
so
it's kind of those moments are really difficult to explain to people who don't follow wrestling regularly because they're like, well, it's fake, isn't it? Like they know ahead of time who's going to win. It's like, yeah, but you know ahead of time, but what winning means is huge because you don't
also,
have
you
just
have to
any
nail
random-
the performance too.
You do.
As you know.
And at the end of
right?
that, you know that you've nailed the performance.
Right.
You've done an excellent job. The crowd has been into it the whole
And the
time.
emotion.
And then you end up winning the belt. And it
Yeah.
just shows that like the company is behind you on that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And being a part of that special moment as a fan, whether you're in the arena or you're watching on TV, like those moments are great.
Yeah, the way I describe it to people that don't watch wrestling is it's like winning the Academy Award.
Yeah.
It's like I'm being rewarded for all of my past performances.
Yes.
And like
That's a good way
I
to
am
put
being
it.
recognized. And so like Jordan has been the Leonardo DiCaprio of tag team wrestling.
That's a good way
and
to put
he
it.
finally got his shot. So it was great to see.
Yeah, it didn't take a Revenant-esque performance to do. So yeah, that match was fantastic. Everything I wanted, and it was like a great way to start what turned out to be a Lord of the Rings marathon edition-esque viewing of wrestling as I watched NXT Takeover pre-show, NXT Takeover Dallas, WrestleMania pre-show, WrestleMania, and then almost all of Raw because
woke
I
up
was
the next
away
day.
and I
Happy
mostly avoided spoilers through that whole weekend because I was
Yeah.
away.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Other than I got
The
spoiled
women's
on the
belt.
belt,
The
but
women's belt.
I was so happy about it happening. I was just more interested to see what it looked like.
Yeah.
And I saw a thumbnail on loading the WWE app on my iPad to get into the network part. If I
Mm-hmm.
went to just the browser, it would have been fine. They didn't have spoiler stuff. So.
Big.
No spoils or sour grapes about what happens after that with Austin Aries and Baron Corbin.
It was a very solid match.
Yeah.
And I think it suffered just coming after like such another incredible match. Like it's a good match on a card.
Yes.
It's a good match on any card.
Yes.
Yeah.
But of the show, it was the least exciting match.
Yeah, it
And
suffers
it-
just by the greatness of everything else.
Yeah, it's so
Which
funny.
is a good problem to have.
Yeah,
Like,
it was the least exciting match and also Baron Corbin's best match ever.
yes,
Like,
absolutely. Which
I
is
was like-
great considering everything that happens through the rest of the weekend for him.
yeah.
That was awesome.
I had completely forgot about this match because while I was there, and this is part of the thing that sucks about being a wrestling fan, is if you get stuck next to someone who is not a good wrestling fan, either they are very large and smelly, or they're very loud and try and start chants every 2 seconds, and they're not on rhythm, so no one's joining. If any of those situations happen, or the above, you tend to not focus on the match. So I had to go back and rewatch this one, and when I did, it was really good.
Yeah, no, it's a good match.
Not that I'm bitter at all or anything.
Yeah, no. So from that, like, just solid match that was good, but
Yeah, no real
you
comments
know,
other than that.
paled in comparison to the debut.
Hashtag,
Debut of
like,
Nakamura. Oh,
hashtag
my
fight forever.
gosh.
Fight forever.
That was so.
So let's just talk
Both these
about-
guys. Both these guys.
so good.
Let's talk about the entrance first. Like
Okay.
Sami Zayn comes out, you know it's his last match, or in NXT. You know
If it's
he's
not
gonna
its
move-
last, it's his last big match.
Yeah.
Like,
Is he still gonna be doing it?
no, I'm like Charlotte lost a belt and then wrestled in NXT for a long time, but this is very clearly Sami Zayn's last match because of the way they end it. Like
Yeah.
Nakamura
Yeah.
leaves him in the ring,
Yeah.
and they have the extended send off.
Yeah,
no,
so that's what I'm
So yeah,
saying.
it's very clearly his last
I mean,
match.
Sami Zayn enters. All I'm doing is watching to see if he, separates his shoulder again.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then he gets in the ring. He, seems like he's fine.
Yeah.
And then Nakamura time.
Oh, so that's the music.
The
is
music's
awesome.
perfect.
Yeah.
I was really I was worried about his character and I was worried about his music. And all of my concerns have been like
Quashed.
just quelled.
Yeah.
Like just from simply like he walked in the ring and he was already the most charismatic person on the WWE roster.
The other part too that like we talk about a lot with these international guys and the new wave of recruitment in WWE is the old fan in us still always worries that like they're gonna botch it.
Yes.
But like they very much are just like, here's the evidence extracted from these other groups. This guy's the shit. Time we got him now.
Well,
and they just
like,
let it like play out organically, and it's like the crowd backed him up on that, and it was fine. They didn't have to do any like convincing us why he's so good and all that stuff. They just launched right into it.
It took a while to get there because, mind you, like Triple H's first signing was Mystico Sin Cara, and that didn't work out, and then it was Hideo.
Yeah.
And not saying that I don't love Hideo.
It's just an unfortunate circumstance.
Yeah.
Like he's getting better, and then he kind of isn't progressing as well as they thought.
Just
and
don't go to the training facility at the same time as Kevin Owens and you're fine.
Yeah. Really.
But,
so Sami Zayn, they start singing his entrance music,
Yeah.
which I love because that continued throughout the rest of the weekend.
Yeah.
And it's so great because you hear the da 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 da, like we just all get into it, and then the let's go, like that's when everything just erupts, right?
Yeah.
And Sami Zayn is just so great because he's genuine.
Yeah.
He is the most genuine guy
Yeah.
on any of the WWE shows. So you see the look on his face in the ring where he's like near tears, and the match hasn't even started yet, right?
He's
but
awesome.
like he knows in that moment that this is people's dream match on paper, and that he's so excited to do it, but there's also the emotional impact of it being his last match.
Yeah.
And then Nakamura's music hits. Well, no, not even before that. Like the arena's dark. And everyone's just chanting, and they let the chanting go for like a couple seconds.
Couple seconds, yeah.
And it's like you can just feel it.
Yeah.
And I don't think they showed it on the playback, but there were multiple people from backstage who actually came out to watch the match.
Oh, nice.
That's how important this was.
I did.
There was a bunch
see
of
that.
stage hands. They were hanging out by like where Corey and Tom were, the announce table. There was a couple stage hands with Stone Cold.
Oh,
like there was a
man.
number of people who were out. Who were just hanging out in the back. Like Vince popped his head out once.
Yeah.
Like people are just.
Scott Hall and X-Pac were there, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they showed him on.
But yeah, like people knew how big this match was for multiple reasons, not just purely Nakamura, but like
business wise,
story wise, the
cool.
growth of NXT, like just the fact that they're in an arena with 8,000 people that sold out in less than 30 minutes, like this is insane, right? And then best match of the year.
Oh man,
Like hands down,
Yeah.
it's only April. This is going to be the best match of the year. It is going to be very hard to top this.
The only it's gonna be hard to top it. But these people are around and have time. Like, it's crazy. Like all these people are here and we have exposure to them. Like, it's super good. So, but
it's
that
so
was,
good.
Like, and even just seeing like the strong style, play out.
Yeah,
and like
just
Sammy being a
super
willing
stiff
and
kicks.
able opponent in this, made it really good too. Because Sam is a great wrestler. Nakamura, because people with Nakamura's style aren't gonna get on with everyone. Right?
No.
Yeah.
You need to be a good wrestler to like have a good match with him. Right.
Well, and you start to see Sammy play to Nakamura's style a little bit. Like
Yeah,
he started
yeah.
throwing really stiff punches the
Yeah.
whole
Yep.
match.
Super good.
And I just love all the little bits that like Sami Zayn does. Like he always gets hit and then like pulls himself up with one hand on the ropes, but then one of his feet drags because he's just like kind of out of it.
Yeah.
And he does this every match at least once, and I just find it incredible every time that like the guys sell the same
He's
thing
awesome.
the same way.
So-
anyway, like we could do an episode just about this match.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So let's just say like best match of the year, whatever.
Yeah, watch it. If you have not watched this match, find it, download it, do whatever you
One of
have
our
to do.
coworkers actually came by my desk and said that he had a friend contact him and say, if you watch nothing else from this weekend, watch this match.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've shown 4 people Nakamura's entrance that weren't wrestling fans, and I'm like, watch as I show you Prince in wrestling form.
Yes,
like,
the drunk, sexy Michael Jackson
Yes.
meets Freddie Mercury.
So
yeah, I'm telling you.
Or as Ray just summarized, Prince.
Well, now it's time to talk about Bayley versus Asuka.
This, so they had a lot to follow.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
they did an excellent job.
Wow, I mean, yeah, for one that had to chase this match, I mean,
Yeah,
this
like-
is who you go with.
Well, I mean, they upped the game. Right? There was 8 tube men instead of 4.
There were. She had like a Letterman jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asuka had the crying mask.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
both their entrances
oh.
were good. I didn't see Izzy.
Okay, so that's
Brittany
an
has a
interesting
field
story.
report
Okay.
from
So
this,
I have friends who were sitting near the entrance, and Izzy was there.
Okay.
Izzy and
She
her
wasn't
whole
in her
family.
normal full sale spot.
No, I mean, well, they're
Right.
not at Full Sail,
Yeah,
but
right.
but
Not that
I
she
saw
has to
I
have
saw
it, but-
Izzy throughout the weekend, so it's clear that
so
her family
weird.
was sent for WrestleMania, which is a
Yeah.
very nice gesture, right?
Yeah.
But Izzy was there, Bailey loses. And side note, Bailey is now fully evolved to John Cena.
Yes.
Because she didn't tap.
Yeah. You don't tap if
You don't tap.
Yeah.
But so Bailey passes out, and my friends who are sitting near Izzy say that Izzy just starts screaming and bawling and bolts towards the ring to try and help Bailey, and her parents are like fighting her back and pulling her back and everything,
God.
to the point that like Izzy then like crawls into a corner behind the barricade and just sits and cries the rest of the show. That is how bad this hurt. And like Izzy's like the full hyperbole of it, right?
Yeah.
But no one, like I predicted that Asuka was gonna win.
Yeah,
And even
so
I was
we all
still
did.
shocked that it's like, because Bailey is the definition of working hard and believing in yourself. And to see someone like that go down the way they did, it's like, whoa, hold on. Like you can't do that. No, she's Bailey. She always no.
Yeah.
It's what
funny
they
when
want
you
to do with
mention
Cena.
I was just gonna say it's funny how you mentioned the John Cena thing, because it's totally true. And I remember like in one of those typical exchanges where I'm like about to say a thing or you're about to say a thing and the other one says it, like I was like just make the Cena comment and then you said it and I'm like ugh. So like with this, like Cena never got to that level though. Like he was super over, but like people weren't like almost like physically sick to themselves that he lost. They're like, well, you know, he had a good run, you know, it's his turn, right?
Here's why that never happened, is because if you look at the physical stature of Bailey and you look at the physical stature of Cena, he tried to encompass the underdog, but you can't when you look like the Terminator. And CM Punk called that out.
Yeah.
CM Punk called him out, and he's like, "You're not like you think you're like the Red Sox or
No,
the
you're
Mets.
the Yankees."
Like you're the New York Yankees. Like fuck off."
Yeah.
And I think if you had somebody with the stature of a CM Punk or a Sami Zayn could do John Cena and get over.
Oh, he could. I mean, he
Kinda
arguably
basically has.
He
does.
basically kind of has,
I
but
mean,
It says on
yeah.
his shirt he's the underdog from the underground.
Yeah,
Like,
so I mean,
His match against Neville was like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of that gimmick, you have to have the right stature for
You
it.
do. You do.
And Bailey, like, not only one, Bailey is an excellent wrestler.
Yeah.
And two,
Best.
like, she plays that up. She plays up her stature.
Yeah, no, she's super good.
So yeah, no, super good. I love this match.
This match was fantastic.
So yeah, like looking forward, I don't know if Bailey's getting promoted immediately or not.
I don't think so.
Probably not, but you know, like that right there, that
Oh,
whole
that-
angle we
that
just talked
cemented
about. Well, this angle plays into heel Charlotte and eventually heel Sasha super well, because we've already seen
yeah,
it,
'cause
right?
Bailey- there's
But,
no way
like,
Bailey could
you
ever
know
be
they'll
heel.
plus
I
it up
hope
on
not.
Raw.
I don't
So,
think
yeah.
it'll happen. I don't think it'll ever happen.
I think Bailey's gonna stay down at least through SummerSlam.
So do I.
Like they didn't play up the let's keep her in the ring and let Asuka go do her
Yeah.
thing and then give Bailey a send off. Like there's gonna be a rematch.
Yeah, there will be, but I'm just looking forward to that one down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Like Bailey's John Cena on Monday Night Raw is going to be great.
Yeah.
So, going into like every one of our predictions, like we'll go through this the 5-card takeover. 4 of these we were right on the money. Every single one of these that we just talked about, we predicted the winners of these match, except for one, which is the last match, which is Finn Balor defeating Samoa Joe.
Which I was just not expecting.
Yeah.
And Joe looked dominant in that match.
Yeah.
With the blood gushing down his face. And the first move, like he hits the turnbuckle as like right out of the gate, and then it's just gushing blood the whole time.
So what happened there was it was a really unfortunate accident. He knees him in the stomach, and as he knees him, they butt heads.
Oh.
And that's
yeah, because I saw he cut his eye, because that's why they
Yeah.
kept rushing in, because they
Yeah.
didn't want his eye to swell over.
It was it just wasn't supposed to happen.
No, I mean, a
it
complete
did.
accident, right?
Yeah.
But then they played into it so well.
Yeah,
that,
they ad-libbed it pretty well.
that Joe's just like, well, stay off, whatever, stay off, just let me battle.
I think that was legitimate. I don't think they were playing that off. I think they were legitimately worried.
And he was legitimately not letting him.
yeah, no,
And you don't mess with Samoa Joe.
So like, and it's kind of like that's why I'm conflicted about the like fuck PG, like those chants
Yeah.
that were happening, because I'm sitting there going like they have to legitimately care about his health
Yeah.
as a wrestler, and the fact that he is gushing blood in a match that is the main event and he's not going to win the title, like they're rushing and they glued his eyes shut once and then it busted open again.
Yeah.
And it's like they really care about their performers now, and you can tell that it's not a PG thing because this is NXT.
No.
They don't have to worry about TV ratings, right?
Yeah.
It's purely Joe was hurt.
Yeah.
And you could
So-
tell how
It's-
badly
it's
he wanted this.
One of those, if you get busted right where he did, like it could land into a permanent injury.
It
like,
could. It could.
You,
Very
you
well.
gotta protect
Very
your
well so.
wrestlers. So I don't think that was. them being agile with what was going on. I think that was a shoot a little bit. So
the chainsaw. There was more chainsaw in NXT than there was in WrestleMania.
I was not a fan of Chainsaw. Honestly, kind of, the match was well performed. I just don't like the long-term effects of the decision to have it go this way. Like, one, Joe already lost to him 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it's been Joe's time, and this is messed up. But before we get there, what is going on with Finn Balor? He's one part Spider-Man, one part demon, and
One part Dean Ambrose.
Oh, gosh, it was ridiculous.
yeah, so for me, when he was in the international scene, he basically experimented with his entrances. The first one I think was the Joker, and then Joker, Venom. He was a lot of different characters, and it wasn't that the demon was this monster. It's the demon could take many forms.
Right.
And so they kind of tried to do that in London and here, and it's like, no, you made a demon, you made a monster, and then you put clothes on him. What are you doing? That's not taking a new form.
Because then he had his Teen Wolf phase where he was wearing the leather jacket a lot.
Yeah, and it's it doesn't fit.
So I feel like I'm okay with it because I know the NXT guys get a lot of say in their gimmicks.
Yeah.
So I know that this isn't being forced on him. I think this is what he wants to do with his character. That he's maybe is still experimenting, and that they found something that works, so they're seeing how far can they pull it.
Let's let him lean into that a little more then.
And
right?
NXT is the time to experiment.
Yeah.
Sure.
I want him to do whatever he needs to do in NXT so that he can be successful when he moves up to the main roster.
Yep.
But Joe losing was kind of weird, especially with all the stuff we're going to talk about in Raw and all the debuts and promotions that are happening.
Yeah.
I expected to see one of those two guys, and we didn't see either one.
Yep, that's
Yep.
true.
That's so segue
with that,
into Raw.
Jump right into Raw.
So Shane loses to The Undertaker and still ends up running Raw for the night. And it's a fantastic Raw.
and the way in which they do it too was good. It stuck to
It ended the storyline.
it ended the storyline, but it also did in a way that
Made sense.
it made sense. Vince is you know what, screw it. You earned it. You tugged at my
get it
heartstrings.
once.
You get one. What's the worst that could happen? You got this idiot Roman Reigns anyway. But before we go through the Shane
Have
thing,
fun with that, Shane.
Yeah,
Bye,
exactly.
I'm getting in the limo.
Yeah, and he pieces out. But one thing that really struck me in the second it happened, I was already texting you they tried to get out in front of the Raw after WrestleMania crowd being super opinionated and loud and already equipped with the booing at WrestleMania. And they from
JBL
the
line.
open immediately they're everyone knows the Raw at the WrestleMania
They
crowd.
preempted.
Boo the guys who they usually cheer and cheer the guys who usually boo. They're crazy.
So
And then
was
Vince
that
gets out
JBL
there-
that said it?
JBL
Yeah.
said it, and then Vince said it in his spot on the mic. So he had it within 5 minutes of each other. They say it twice.
So one, Vince is saying it both times. Let's be
Yes.
real there.
Yeah.
Well,
JBL has a microphone.
yeah.
Vince is
Yeah.
saying it.
Yeah.
Two, it's it doesn't really matter. It's Vince, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having JBL say it is good because JBL is the heel announcer.
Yeah.
The people that are watching that Raw, that are specifically tuning into it, are the hardcore fans. And the fact that we're pissed off by it means that they did their job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny because
Yeah, it was just one of those things that I've never seen before, which is
funny because the New Day comes out and then they get immediately cheered.
it's yet
Yeah.
another leaning into the kayfabe is dead kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and
So-
we're gonna have that discussion soon because I think Vince is scared of the monster he created.
Yeah.
And he capped it with a third time. So to go back to the Shane thing and Vince, that was part of his reasoning. This crowd's a throwaway crowd anyway, right? And it kind of just
Yeah, it was
take
weird,
it,
yeah.
right?
Vince the heel.
Yeah.
Vince comes out and is cheered.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because the crowd that is there, right?
Yeah,
We all just got back
appreciates
from WrestleMania. We are waiting for Roman Reigns to come out.
Yeah.
yeah.
So excited.
We'll cheer everybody.
And then when
except for Roman Reigns.
and then when Roman Reigns comes out, they don't even have him do the match. Oh my God, his promo I'm not a bad guy. I'm a good guy. I'm the guy.
Yeah, he said, I'm not a bad guy.
I'm not a bad guy.
Oh my God, I can't believe
That was
this
good.
guy.
That
was good.
They give him a good line.
No beanstalks, no tater tots.
Yeah.
I actually disagree with that.
Really?
Disagree with what?
That it was a good line.
Okay.
To me, it sounded like. Don't get me wrong. The less he says, the better.
Yeah.
And it was a lot less of what he's been saying lately.
Mm-hmm.
But this to me tells me they don't know what. They're having an identity crisis with Roman. They
This
don't know who he
tells
is.
me the complete opposite because I think, and we're kind of jumping around this episode because so much
That's
is tied
fine.
together. So later on, they have a fatal four-way for the #1 contendership, and AJ ends up winning.
Yeah.
AJ's a face.
Yeah.
This
Roman's
may
going
actually
heel.
be the start of a heel turn.
Maybe.
It's no, I 1,000% agree with Brittany, and hope it goes this way. So that's why, like, a lot of, like, I feel like it is the easiest path to go.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to go, he's got the belt again, no other gimmicks, no strings attached. And you know what? I tried to get you all to cheer for me. You didn't. I don't need you. I'm the guy. Ride that out. And AJ,
so
he'll even,
sense.
you know, like,
It does.
put him through a
Actually,
table, you know, give AJ a hard time.
They can explain away one Raw.
Yeah.
They will not be able to explain away every single Raw.
Right.
Yep.
And
But if he goes out there and yells back at them like, F y'all, I don't need you.
guys,
like,
Payback is in Chicago.
instant heat.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, that's CM Punk territory.
that's CM Punk territory. This is gonna be crazy.
Yeah. So did you guys expect AJ to win that?
No, but honestly, with the 4 of them in it, and just to kind of backtrack and give some context, so it was supposed to be Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, and AJ Styles.
Yeah.
And then they totally tie in the fact that Sami Zayn is injury prone into a storyline, and he gets taken out backstage by Kevin Owens, continuing the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn storyline,
the
which
saga.
I love. So
Yep.
Sami Zayn is kicked out.
Yep.
So Cesaro comes back in a complete surprise and a huge pop, and ends up entering the Fatal 4-Way. And honestly, like, I would have been fine with any of those guys winning it.
Yeah.
Like, that was a perfectly booked main event. And if you remember back to last year, the main event was like a 3v3 with, like, Sheamus and Roman and Big Show.
Oof.
And it was just like your random
Oh, my
Raw. And it
God.
was like, I'm sitting there just going, this is so much better. This is
Yeah.
phenomenally
the
better.
booking's good. Like,
I didn't think it was going to be AJ. I thought maybe it was going to be Jericho because they were going to keep trying to have Jericho bring over a new guy.
Yes.
I was really hoping for Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
As much as Cesaro
So,
was there, I kind of knew Cesaro wasn't
before
going to
it felt like it was going the way of, like, Roman might lean into this and be a bad guy thing. I was like, okay, it makes the most sense for Jericho to win, take a fall to Roman, and they keep
Jericho's
they keep
heel.
ramming him down our throats. But then, you know, as it started to be like, hold on, Roman might just be in, like, DGAF mode here and, like, not care about anybody. Interesting. This could go either way. Well, the one thing they definitely want to avoid, because they'll never get what they want, is put him in a match with Kevin Owens right now.
Yeah.
So you don't put him in the ring with Owens. Like, you're screwed either way. You don't know how to manage that, right?
Yeah.
Like, so then it was going to be one of the other two, and I was like, oh, Cesaro. Like, because I'm thinking of it purely of next month is kind of the throwaway, like, rest, recover pay-per-view. So they're not going to, like,
So they can
go,
start building up for Money in the Bank.
yeah, so they're not going to go... The next opponent's going to lose to him. That's, like, how it goes, right? Like, he'll defend. Like, it's generally the flow of things. So... But then with AJ, it's like, that'll be good because AJ will get a shot. Like, AJ can afford to lose.
AJ has been on the main roster for less than 2 months.
Yeah.
He
Also
can
keep
afford
that
to
in mind.
lose.
Like-
he needs
like-
to be happy he's even getting this much
They
time.
kept the cameras going for, or they kept the show going for a long time after the camera stopped, and AJ kind of starts crying in the ring
Yeah.
because we're just continually clapping for him, and it's like, to go that far in the company that quickly, it's
Yeah.
kind of incredible, because you're an unknown guy,
Yeah.
and to have that much trust, like, I have faith that things will be changing for the future because Vince is trusting the people in the back, telling him, like, no, push this AJ guy, he's really important.
Yeah.
Plus, once a couple more people heal up and they come back, like, we're going to have a really solid roster this summer and fall.
we're gonna have to
you're
split
going to have
that
the
roster up.
returns. Yeah, because you're going to have the returns of Cena, Rollins, and then by then, Owens has to be in the title picture, right? Like, it's going
yeah,
to take us
so many
through the
people.
summer.
Well, because Rollins is going to
Yeah.
come back white hot and super face.
So, like, that's just projected forward. That's going to be great. So the build-up with Owens, Sammy is great, but... Let's get to the coronation, because this
that was
actually...
a little awkward.
Yes.
That was a little awkward,
It was.
at least on TV. I don't know what it was live.
To me, it cheapened it happening at WrestleMania in a way.
No,
you didn't need to
so,
re-coronate.
No. It needed to happen.
Yeah,
I think it
that's
did
fine.
because it was mostly like Lita is presenting it,
Yeah.
and this is an opportunity for Charlotte to take the moment in this historic moment, but also be a total heel, right?
Yeah.
And have everyone else walk out of the ring and just like, we're really happy for you, but none of us respect you. And it kind of builds up that whole like Charlotte as a bad guy thing. So I think from that perspective, it works.
Yeah, I thought she already built herself up really well,
I think regardless of who won it, like even if Sasha had had won the belt, they would have been in a tough situation because there was no way we were not going to chant for Bayley.
Yeah.
Like that was the expected thing, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't watched it back yet, but I heard
She
Michael
handled
Cole
it
even
well.
said like, well, Bayley's not here.
Yeah.
Like just outright says it and admits
Yeah.
it, right? Like she's not there. So I think Charlotte handled it as best as she could.
Yeah.
That was my biggest concern in the moment, is how is she going to handle this? Because this
She
is like...
handled
Because she
Totally
started off
fine.
with a shoot.
Yeah.
She did.
And then she went back to kayfabe. And
Yep.
so it was hard because it's like you're doing the Bayley thing during the wrong part.
Yes, it's like wait to do the Bayley thing until she's doing the heel part, but I totally see why they're chanting Bayley because of this historic moment, right? That would be, I mean, dream booking, that would be the perfect moment to bring Bayley out because you've got a heel Sasha, Bayley just lost, people want it, not necessarily are expecting it, but yeah, I thought it was great.
Yep.
it just, I guess the part that got a little awkward was like the Natty part, like, I don't know.
Natty's in this weird point where she's kind of like the tweener between the divas and the actual like good women wrestlers.
Yeah.
And she has that legacy to play off of, so I think they might be...
Well, that's what tricked me too.
Yeah.
So Ric Flair was there, and they were kind of playing up like Ric Flair again,
Legacies,
his presence
blah,
being
blah,
shitty.
blah. Yeah.
And the second the music hit, like, I forgot that she uses that music too, and I was getting
I
fucking
immediately
stoked.
looked at the entrance and thought Bret Hart was going to come out, and then he didn't. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's just Natty's music.
I forgot because like she's had a few different variants, and this one is very close to the old Bret Hart
close.
one.
Yeah, it kind of, it's one of the reasons why I hate Roman still using the Shield music. Is when the Shield eventually reforms, it's going to have less impact.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. Wow. Holy crap.
So we saw another Usos Dudley match.
Oh my god, guys.
Oh my god.
So this thing happens, and we're sitting there, and we're like, okay, cool. Like, they've already done New Day and League of Nations, which, okay, before we go into Dudley's Usos, I want to call out a moment with Barrett.
Yeah.
Like, there was a moment in the show where they threw him out of the ring, and he's just chilling, like, relaxing on the side of the ring, because he knows this is his last show, because his contract's ended.
Yeah.
But then playing that up, like, you're only as good as your weakest link, and, like, that's how they send him off. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So that whole thing happens, the New Day, League of Nations, kind of end that storyline, great. And then Dudley's Usos comes out, so you kind of get this feeling in the room of, okay, if they're gonna do Enzo and Cass, it's gotta be now. Like, this is really the only opportunity for it. So Dudley's Usos happens, and it kind of has that weird ending where the Usos go through the table, but they go through the table accidentally, and then Lillian keeps messing up lines, and we're not sure what's happening.
Yeah.
And then the lights just go down, and they start playing commercials, and we're like, what the fuck? Like, it's done? No way. And then we're sitting there, they keep playing all the commercials on the Titantron, and the Dudleys are still there on the outskirts of the ring. And they're like, Bubba Ray just keeps walking around and like talking crap to people and all this stuff, and we're like, oh my god, it's gonna happen. Like, why else would they be there? And the lights come up, they start filming again, and then the music hits.
See, I gotta say, from the TV audience point of view, it was not that obvious at all. It was just like...
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, it was basically like, well, I guess they're not there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I was like, oh,
so you're saying, like, it was so clear. It's like, it's clear from you in the arena. From us...
It's clear from
like,
the hardcore fan that follows what's happening, because you know...
But there,
when
like...
the commercial
But there, if you're there.
When you're
we're
there,
at a podcast, we're pretty hardcore
No,
fans.
I mean, like, to clarify, I mean, when you are there in the arena, because normally you see a match
Loitering
end,
doesn't happen. Yeah, they clean that shit out.
They
move
shit
to the
out.
next
The guys
one.
who lose the match, they leave very quickly and kind of under the shadows and
Yeah.
hidden by staff.
Yeah.
So the fact that didn't happen, if you've been paying attention at all to what has been happening in wrestling and just how a general live wrestling show goes, you know something is different.
Something's
And also
So we were
knowing
primed.
that, like, the
we were
Dudleys...
primed and ready.
The
And
Dudleys,
Dudleys
are ready,
heels.
and the Dudleys are there
So
to
you're
put
like,
people over.
oh my god, guys, this is going to happen. So then the music hits, and it's just like, it is a huge pop.
Oh, yeah.
And the little girl behind me, she's like 10 and wearing a Cena shirt. And I have a lot of respect for her because she was talking a lot of shit during the show. And her dad was totally encouraging it. Like, I even told her at one point, like, I'll let the Cena shirt slide. You're pretty cool. And she's like, who are these guys? Because she apparently doesn't watch NXT. And everyone's cheering. And I was like, they're awesome. And she goes, okay. And then just starts like, S-A-W-F-T. Like, she starts doing it too. And I'm like,
so good.
the tears down the back of your head. And put the lazy eye back to work.
Ooh.
Like Enzo just went
God damn.
full on out of the gate.
I gotta explain, just for posterity's sake, the full joke was he's so ugly that his tears go down the back of his head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
he was rattling him off. Like, they didn't have time to react to the jokes in between.
No, and even like the tears go down the back of your head. How you doing? Like he immediately goes into the how you doing. Oh, it was so good. I'm losing my shit here.
Yeah,
Like,
so Enzo has figured out his character as far as how he talks, because he has this joke voice.
we
and
got some haters. We got a couple haters.
And then let's get into real business. And it's like, wait, what the fuck? Who's this like monster that's coming out of this little guy?
He's got this bleach blonde like mohawk with leopard print on the side. He wears leopard print pretty much all over. It looks like he has to go out in public like that. But he is dead serious with his promos.
Yeah.
And that comes across so well. And it's
he's killing it.
like that is a combination of him as a person and the teachings of Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
And you are seeing that live.
And he's constantly getting better wrestling wise. So I'm always like impressed with that kid. That kid's gonna be great.
So there's a lot of other stuff that happened in the show. We're unfortunately running out of time, but we got 2 new promotions: Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
We both moved up, and it was like those were the 2 that I was not expecting. Even with Baron Corbin winning at Mania, did not expect to see him move up this quickly. And then we also got a teaser for the Vaudevillains at SmackDown.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
surprise.
man,
You had to watch. Did you watch the full?
I didn't.
All right,
Oh,
so
you
yeah,
gotta
it
watch
was
the
part
full
of,
one.
yeah, in
It's
the full
all
one.
worth watching.
It was,
Watch
yeah.
the full one.
So let's end though with
Miz.
with the Miz and
Ryder.
Yeah.
Ryder. Miz is definitely back in full keel focused.
Yes.
You know, his
I
wife
love
is
it.
in on the efforts.
Yes.
They
Oh
loop
my
in
God, I love that she came
the
back.
sentimental efforts.
I have a story about that when we get to the next episode,
All right.
by the
Okay.
way.
with Zach and
There's
his
a little bit
dad.
of foreshadowing at Access.
Like, I like that they'll probably feud again. I kind of hope Zach repicks it back up.
So do I.
Because, like, I feel like a day isn't enough of a nod to him, but he still had his moment at WrestleMania. So I don't know. They could go either way, right?
They could.
It wouldn't be the biggest travesty in the world if
I
he
mean,
didn't get
Roman
it,
is still a
but-
two-time champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had it for only 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Ryder at least got it
Okay.
for 24 hours.
That's
Yeah.
true. Same thing with
Daniel Bryan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, there's many people who
There's
have
so
many.
title
There's so
runs,
many.
right?
But
But yeah, so it was good. It was
good.
handled well.
I'm super excited for a different version of Miz.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be awesome, and it's gonna be great. He's a good heel.
I'm just excited about wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
everything is going right.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, for the most part.
like-
It's funny, like, to hear a lot of people are down on what's going
it's
on.
because people are just dumb fans. Like,
Well, there's
sit back
that.
and actually enjoy the show.
There is a struggle that's going on, and
There
you
is.
kind of tell in
There is, but I feel like they're working through it in
Yeah.
the right way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like everything's trending up and they're leaning into a lot more things than they're pushing away.
I
Right? And I
feel-
feel like the last thing that they're going to figure out is Roman. And again, like, Brittany and I are totally on the same page with this one. Like, I feel like it's happening. He's going heel. And if he doesn't, like, then I agree with Ray. Like, guys, I don't know what else you do.
Yeah.
But the best way, the easiest way to salvage him is have him lean into this shit as heel champion.
I'm the good guy. I'm the guy. Like,
Yeah.
if that just becomes your line,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the company getting away from the old Vince mentality.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think once we get out of that, we'll be in good
Well,
territory.
also, like, you know, you got to give the devil his due here. Like, he's still got to approve all this, and it just seems like he's finally approving it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's the one saying these kind of things. He's acknowledging things. Like, before, he never would have even admitted that these fans were, like, dumb and it goes against message. He just would just talk right through you, right?
Yep.
And so he's, like, getting into the
Acknowledging
whole
it.
mind game of it and acknowledging it and then running with it and doing okay, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and we give a lot of hate to the writers, but that is probably one of the hardest jobs because when it's good, it's great, but when it's bad, it is the
Oh.
shittiest thing.
Yeah.
Because you
I
have the
get-
entire internet wrestling community down your throats.
Yeah, so eventually when we do our Kayfabe is Dead podcast, I want to talk about the writers because if you saw the Hall of Fame and Michael P.S. Hayes brings up the writers, everybody boos. What the fuck? Like, everybody is booing the writers. That... I can go into
Save it for
I'll
the
save
podcast, Ray. Save it for the podcast.
But yeah, I think
because we got to wrap it up for the
we
week.
got to wrap it up for the week.
We got to wrap it up for the week. This is really, really crazy weekend of wrestling,
Holy
but
shit.
we're gonna have to end it at one point. If you like the podcast, you can find us on Twitter at OnTheHeelsWP and on Facebook.com/OnTheHeelsWP. Also, we're on iTunes, so please download past episodes, listen to us, hear our shtick, subscribe to future episodes, check us out.
that's right. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment on the page. We'll, you know, give it some consideration, have some banter, if you will. Throw us a 5-star rating, you know, because get the word out, have people find out about us. We got to expand past our empire in the Netherlands
Yes,
to other
our
regions.
50 listeners.
We love you.
And, you know, tell your wrestling buddies about the podcast. Feel free to tweet, message us, anything. We're happy to respond.
Thank you so much for listening to On the Heels Wrestling Podcast. Tune into our next episode where Brittany will cover all the crazy shit that went down during WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
And then after all of those questions that we asked Brittany, we'll ask ourselves the new internal question: who the fuck gave Michael P.S. Hayes a microphone and let him go on for like an hour and a half for thank yous at the Hall of Fame?
I sold my Hall of Fame tickets, and then I just fast forwarded to Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. Oh man, that Snoop
Like-
Dogg. That
I didn't
Snoop
even-
Dogg.
He was
his
good.
speech.
He
His
was
speech
good.
great.
Hey,
was
I
good.
got all those in highlights and saw about 1,700 times.
On the Heels Wrestling Podcast.
You thought you sloppy. They calling me Poppy. I'm rolling in bands, riding around and I beat up jalopy.